Konye bomura yomane wikiama ya Jubilee muske Dr. Fred Okenga Matiang'i nigo nugose nigarora kanire komochia chingwa na chikandata igoro yobo cholyo bonne obu mwaka bwechirwe na 2022 na mono kurwa saba bwatani bekiama ya ODM Matiang'i niga mentire buna nigo ekyombe kebwanete korosigwa elio Kenya kabage ko unengia alliance nyata kaba agakoreka chinga kichobo cholyo bwo na yanda mange bwatrantia bokorira serikali elio aba Kenya banyara koba bakomanya obwene.
Your intention is to actually resolve them. Why do you go to the street? Why don't you call a meeting of that organization? And this is why we are talking about orderly, responsive and responsible government. Because the leadership is not about mounting platforms on the streets and calling each other names and shouting at each other and so on. Who needs a street conversation on the campaigns of 2022? I've often said in other platforms that if people actually wanted the truth about what happened in 2022 and so on, this administration promised us that they will form a commission of inquiry on state capture. Yes. And in that commission of inquiry, they would include a clause on the administration of elections in 2022. Yes. We have been waiting for that commission of inquiry, and that is what they need to do, so that we all go to KICC there and under oath, in the full glare of cameras and the country, we each say what we know and what happened. Some of that truth may be very devastating to some people. That is why people would choose this smokescreen confusion of all the time creating stories and all manner of stories. Let the truth be appropriated in an objective manner, not through street talks and so on. Sometimes when people want to hide responsibility, they will come up with all these stories and so on and so forth, so that it boils down to a match of who speaks louder or who shouts louder than the other. Is that really leadership? The answer, in my view, is no. I'm going to ask the Secretary General to talk about the payment of agents and so on, because as you know, that is not something we ought to be discussing about in 2026 as we prepare for elections. You know, every time we are approaching a serious time of responsibility, such as we are doing, some of our leaders, especially those aligned to the administration, resort to drama and stories and lies to camouflage and to distract from answering straightforward questions and so on. We are preparing for elections as it is. And if anyone has got concerns about those agents who are not paid and so on, should they then address who hired them? And why should it be a national issue? Why should it be a concern for grace and so on about which agent or as an ordinary citizen or as